The kingdom of Neorin was known for its verdant valleys and shimmering rivers, bordered by majestic mountain ranges to the north. For decades, the kingdom had known peace, with prosperity rippling through towns and villages, each day marked by the contented buzz of daily life. This peace, however, had been shattered by the arrival of Othragor the Red, a dragon of legendary power. For weeks, rumors had whispered of villages turned to ash and herds reduced to charred skeletons by a creature that seemed almost too terrible to be real. But when refugees began arriving at the capital with horror in their eyes, there was no denying it. Neorin was under siege by fire and fury. The royal court buzzed with anxiety. King Alden, usually calm and assured, stood at the center of the grand hall, watching as servants, advisors, and messengers scurried about, bearing reports from ravaged villages. His face, usually warm, now bore the shadow of worry that hadn't left him for days. He had heard of Othragor before in ancient stories of ruin and fear, a creature whose slumber had been undisturbed for centuries. But something or someone had awakened the beast, and now it sought to reclaim its place as a terror of the realm. As the sun began to set, King Alden summoned his most trusted warriors, 3 knights known throughout Neorin for their bravery and skill. Sir Cedric, the eldest of the 3, was a veteran of many battles, renowned for his wisdom and unshakable sense of duty. Beside him stood Lady Elara, known for her archery skills that were as precise as they were deadly. Her loyalty was fierce, and her courage had been tested time and again. Finally, there was Sir Rowan, the youngest among them, whose energy and enthusiasm often belied his relative inexperience. Together, these 3 represented the hope of the realm. The grand hall fell silent as the knights approached King Alden, who greeted them with a grave nod. He took a deep breath, his voice resonant and commanding, but laced with tension.
Neorin faces a threat it has not seen for centuries. Othragor the Red has risen, laying waste to all in his path. Many brave souls have already tried and failed to end this nightmare, but you 3, there is no other in whom I would place my faith. You're the realm's best, our last hope.
Sir Cedric met the king's gaze with steady resolve, a slight bow acknowledging the gravity of the task.
My liege, we accept this responsibility with honor. We shall do all in our power to bring peace back to Neorin.
Lady Elara and Sir Rowan nodded beside him, and even in their silence, the strength of their commitment was evident. This was no ordinary mission. They understood the perils awaiting them, yet none faltered in their determination. After accepting the king's charge, the 3 knights retreated to the castle armory to prepare. Sir Cedric inspected his silver sword, running a hand over its gleaming edge, a weapon that had served him well in countless battles. Lady Elara, equally focused, examined her quiver, carefully selecting arrows that could pierce even the thickest hide. Sir Rowan, meanwhile, took a moment to steady himself, his heart racing at the thought of facing the legendary dragon, yet the excitement that shone in his eyes betrayed a young man who dreamed of valor and glory. Outside the armory, a crowd had gathered, eager to see the knights who would attempt the impossible. Family members, friends, and citizens alike watched with a mixture of pride and sorrow, knowing the dangers that awaited their heroes. As they walked through the crowd, people reached out to touch their armor, as if drawing strength from them, or whispered blessings for their safe return. The knights acknowledged these gestures, offering kind words to those they knew personally and reassuring smiles to strangers who prayed for their victory. At the castle gates, the knights shared a quiet moment. Sir Cedric looked at his companions, the weight of his duty plain in his eyes.
This journey will test us as we've never been tested before, but together I believe we can face whatever comes our way.
We've fought beside each other before. We'll do it again, even against a creature of legend.
I'm ready. I won't let either of you down.
With the gates opening before them, the 3 knights took their first steps into the unknown. The path before them was long and perilous, winding through lands both familiar and strange, with dangers lurking in shadowed forests, haunted ruins, and treacherous mountain passes. But they pressed onward, their hearts resolute, for the kingdom depended on them. And as the rising sun cast a crimson glow over Neorin, the knights marched on, ready to face the wrath of Othragor the Red and prove themselves worthy of the trust their king had placed in them. The knights set out at dawn, their path winding down from the capital toward the distant town of Riverhaven. Although it was usually a peaceful village, Riverhaven now bore scars of Othragor's wrath. As they rode through the misty morning, their journey felt somber. The fields, once bustling with farmers, lay empty, and an ominous quiet hung in the air. They passed clusters of abandoned houses, their doors swinging open and crops left to wither, a haunting reminder of the dragon's destructive power. As they approached Riverhaven's gates, the silence turned to the murmur of fearful voices. Villagers moved about warily, glancing nervously at the sky as though expecting flames to rain down at any moment. The sight of the three knights, Sir Cedric, Lady Alara, and Sir Rowan, brought a flicker of hope, and the townsfolk gathered to watch them with a mixture of reverence and fear. Children peeked out from behind their mothers' skirts, their eyes wide as they whispered to one another about the legendary dragon slayers. The knights made their way to the heart of Riverhaven, a humble square with an old stone fountain. It was here they noticed the full impact of Othragor's presence. Buildings had been scorched and shop windows were either broken or hastily boarded up. The air smelled faintly of smoke and ash, a reminder of the recent devastation. An old woman approached them, her face lined with worry as she clutched a young boy's hand. "The dragon! It came without warning. We've lost everything!" Moved by the woman's plea, the knights assured her they would do all they could to bring peace back to Riverhaven. Their first stop was the local tavern, a modest establishment with creaking wooden floors and a roaring hearth. The tavern keeper, a grizzled man named Garrett, greeted them with a nod, his expression one of cautious hope. It's as if the beast knows our every move. First, the outlying farms. Then he moved closer, destroying homes and crops alike. As Garrett spoke, he pointed them toward the town's blacksmith, a rugged man named Torvald who had lost most of his livelihood to the dragon's flames. Torvald's workshop lay on the edge of the village, a grim testament to the destruction. His forge was half collapsed, and remnants of tools lay charred in the rubble. When the knights arrived, Torvald greeted them with a hollow gaze, his strong hands trembling as he told them of his loss. "I've done my best to help defend this town," he said, voice low, "but we're no match for that monster." Eager to assist however they could, the knights asked Torvald how they might help. Torvald explained that bandits had taken advantage of the chaos caused by the dragon's attacks, raiding farms and robbing villagers. It was as if the bandits knew they wouldn't face retaliation, counting on Riverhaven's fear and desperation. Sir Cedric, never one to ignore injustice, exchanged a determined glance with his companions. "If the dragon isn't here now, then we'll rid this town of its other threats." That night they set out to the nearby farms, laying an ambush for the bandits. Lady Alara, with her sharp eyes and steady aim, perched on a hill overlooking the farm, while Sir Rowan and Sir Cedric concealed themselves behind a barn. Soon they heard the muffled clatter of hooves and saw torchlight approaching in the dark. The bandits arrived, arrogant and loud, unaware of the knights lying in wait. With a swift whistle from Alara, the knights sprang into action, charging forward with weapons drawn. The battle was short but intense. Sir Cedric's sword flashed in the moonlight as he skillfully blocked and countered the bandits' attacks, while Sir Rowan wielded his axe with impressive strength, his inexperience balanced by fierce determination. Lady Alara picked off stragglers with precise shots, each arrow finding its mark. Within minutes, the bandits were disarmed and subdued, and the few who managed to flee were unlikely to return, scared off by the knights' prowess. In gratitude, Torvald worked through the night, crafting enchanted armor for the knights. Using metal from his personal store and weaving in old family runes, he fashioned armor that glinted even in the dim light of his forge. When he presented it to them the following morning, his voice was heavy with both pride and sorrow. "This may not be enough to protect you from a dragon," he admitted, "but it's all I have to give. Take it and know that Riverhaven stands with you." The people of Riverhaven gathered once more to see the knights off. Torvald and Garrett were among them, standing side by side as the knights prepared to continue their journey. As they mounted their horses, the townsfolk offered blessings and whispered prayers, hands reaching out to touch the armor that now gleamed with a protective glow. Lady Alara looked back one last time, her heart stirred by the hopeful faces of those they had sworn to protect. Leaving Riverhaven, they rode with a renewed sense of purpose, each feeling the weight of the townspeople's trust. They had not yet encountered Othrago, but they understood now the depths of his impact on the kingdom. Their journey was far from over, and the path ahead held countless unknowns. But as they pressed onward, they were bolstered by the thought of the lives they had saved, and the belief that they could somehow defeat the creature that threatened them all.